Emails that I received from friends and sent them back to some friends were political satire, and I inappropriately used the city's computer system, the internet. I really should know better. It was not racially motivated, and I let my citizens down in my city, and that's why I wanted to apologize, because it took 4 years and 9 months to gain their trust and their confidence, and that quickly things could have gone south, and I hope they'll give me a second chance and let me apologize for inappropriately using the city's computer system, which I really should know better.
If it were done from your own personal laptop, would you feel a little better about it?
No.
Well,
But again, because it was political satire, and those things that were sent in that nature, and it was sent from friends and some from anonymous people, but they were not intended to offend anybody and sent out as malicious or, like I said, racially motivated.
They did offend some people. I would assume you know that.
In reading Mr. Jones's column, yes.
You say it was political satire, but there were certainly some that were racially motivated. The people of color who work under you, what should they think of you sending out racially motivated, racially insensitive emails?
Well, again, the intent was not to be racially motivated. Again, it was political satire. I think the people that work for me currently and worked for me in the past at Fort Lauderdale Police Department know that I treat people with dignity and respect, and I'm not a person that goes around looking for issues for racial stuff. I've prided myself in the positions that I've been in to not only have a diverse field of employees, but treat everybody with dignity and respect. And Wilton Manors Police Department now is certainly a lot different than when I first arrived there.
You said that political satire. However, the audio clip that we broadcast was from Blazing Saddles, which used the N-word,
Yes.
which had nothing to do with politics.
Correct. And I have several of those. I use them historically. I teach at Broward College. I teach stereotyping, I teach ethics, I teach diversity. I have many of those clips and forward them back to my friend who downloads them. And that's not an excuse. I should not have done this stuff on city computer. But I use them, and I have many of them that I use in my classes.
For what purpose?
For the diversity, for stereotyping, for teaching new recruits in the police department, as well as advanced courses at the police academy and the older officers in diversity, stereotyping, how it can be an officer safety issue when people are called names, the names they're going to get called out on the street. So that's in a classroom setting, and I download many of these. And BCC, or Broward College, has those curriculums on file that I use.
And you somehow think that people can learn from that clip from Blazing Saddles that uses the N-word?
Yes, I do.
Can you explain what the learning value is?
Absolutely, because in the class when I teach it, I give the example of the Gone with the Wind from 1939, how that movie was held up because Clark Gable said the word damn in it. And yet in the 1970s we can use the N-word. And then in the 2000s we've got clips from South Park that just use it regularly. And I show the difference in the class. And I think they can learn from that, because especially some of these clips, they're afraid to use it. And it's out there. Whether we like to use the N-word or not, police officers hear that quite a bit out there.
How many, do you have any idea as to how many you've sent out would it be over the years since you started?
No.
No. Accurate to say dozens or hundreds, would you say?
I would say dozens would be accurate.
Dozens would be accurate. And again, I asked the question once, but just again, the people of color who work under you, who may not understand that you're using some of that as a learning tool, their perception would be something very different. And
Well,
what would you say to those folks?
I would say to those people that especially the ones that I've hired, that they know my background, they know where I am, and they know what I do and how I treat them at work. And if they were offended by it, that bothers me, and it hurts me, and I am deeply apologetic about that. But the people that work for me know the kind of person I am at work.
Miss Captain Siebert is filling your spot while you're suspended. She received some of those, and I believe she forwarded some of those as well. Isn't that right?
I believe she forwards some to friends and family.
Sure. Do you find her to be an appropriate replacement for you?
Yes.
even though she was involved in circulating the
A
emails.
lot of these emails that I sent to her, especially some of these sound clips, she's been in that class that I've taught, as well as my HR manager at Wilton Manors has sat in on the class to see what it was like. I've had people from the state attorney's office sit in on these classes. So I've had people in the last 6-7 years take these classes, and yes, I forward them to her and I ask her, this is appropriate, not whether it's an appropriate clip or not, but whether will it fit in the class, how will it be received, and how can you help me use it in the class, because that's the feedback I got from her and I got from people that I've taught the class for in the past.
I just want to make sure we're clear that you're classifying them as two emails. We have racially insensitive emails and political satire emails. The racially sensitive sensitive emails were used for training purposes only.
No, you're the one that's saying racially insensitive. I mean, when I viewed them as political satire. That's what I was trying to get across here. Some of the other things were not sent to offend anyone. They were sent to certain people thinking it's political satire. And again, I can't stress it enough. I should not have sent anything using a city computer. I should not have done that. It violates the policy, and for that I'm serving a 30-day suspension without pay.
Chief Perez, do you feel the 30-day suspension was justified, or it was heavy-handed, or it was lenient?
Well, I don't consider being out of work for 30 days without pay lenient, but I will tell you that I considered what the city manager did was fair and just, and he is a very fair man, and he knows my track record there and all the accomplishments we've done, and I believe he took into account those issues and the fact that what I've brought to the city of Wilton Manors as far as the department is concerned. So do I think it's inadequate? Again, I'm not making excuses. I should not have used the city computer, and for that I violated. I made a mistake.
And as chief, would you recommend similar action for Sergeant Peter Beagleson and Captain Doris Siebert?
I'm going to leave that in the hands of the city manager, and I think he is very well suited to make that decision, and I'm sure he'll use my situation as a measuring stick for that, but that decision is his.
And to my knowledge, this is your first opportunity to speak to the public on this issue. Do you feel like you owe the public, whether employees or not, an apology?
Yes, and that's why I thanked you for the opportunity to say that, because I am deeply apologetic, and I'm going to do everything I can when I get back to work to have learned from this experience, to make myself a better person. We make mistakes, and God knows I try to give other people second chances as well. And that's all I'm asking for, is a second chance to go back and show the community that I did make some mistakes. I should not have done this. But what we've accomplished the last 4.5 years in Wilton Manors, I think speaks volumes for my administration.
And the governor removed you from the FDLE board on Friday. Did they contact you beforehand before they did that?
No, they did not.
Did they interview you? You had no contact at all from them?
None.
And what do you think they based their decision on? They included in their letter removing you from that board a copy of the city manager's letter that was issued to you. Do you think they relied on anything other than that?
I have no idea what they relied on. The governor appointed me. The governor has the right to take me off. Who he spoke to or who contacted the governor, who leaked whatever information, who said anything to him, I have no idea, or his staff.
You think that was a justified to remove you from that board?
Well, I don't consider that it was justified without hearing my side of the story, but again, he's the one who appointed me. He has every right to take me off.
And you spoke of the human resources manager. That is Brenda Clanton?
Human resource assistant manager is Dio Sanchez.
Dio Sanchez,
Yes.
assistant manager.
Yes.
And he has completed these diversity trainings?
He went to the police academy to see what the kind of teachings. I invited him out there to see it. It was probably within the last couple of years.
And other than the sensitivity training that you were going to undertake in this issue, what will you do specifically in the police department to ensure that this never happens again? And have you ever disciplined an employee of the police department for sending offensive emails?
Well, I will take whatever courses that human management or human resources or the city manager deems appropriate. They've told me that there's scheduling classes for us and for the upper management command staff as well. And we'll do whatever it takes to ensure that. And we'll put we will certainly get with the information